ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ ਕਲਰਫੁਲ ਹੈਰੀਟੇਜ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟੇਟਿਵ ਵਲੰਟੀਅਰ
We heard it from the elders a long time ago, but we didn't know before. Now we know who he was. So we are very, very grateful from you as well. And they know where the grandfather's grave is.
और मैं ये समझता हूँ कि आप लोगों ने जो ये हमसे रब्ता किया है और ये हम आपका शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं। हम आपके ये दुआगो हैं और हम जो है वो एक दफ़ा फिर पूरा गांव आपका और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ ब्रिटिश का हम शुक्र अदा करते हैं कि वो हमारे भाइयों की, हमारे बुज़ुर्गों की कब्रों की वो निगहदाश्त कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पर उसको मेंटेन किया हुआ है और उनकी बेहरमती नहीं की। हम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ ब्रिटिश और वहाँ की जो कम्युनिटी है और वो जो लेडी हैं जिन्होंने ये 7, 8, 10 कब्रों की जो की है, लुक आफ्टर किया है, हम उसको सलाम पेश करते हैं, हम उसको सलूट पेश करते हैं और शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं।
Thank you very much. So mashallah, we have the family of Muhammad here. We have his brother's grandchildren here, and we finally, this has come to an end of this journey. Inshallah, hopefully they have the opportunity to visit the grave themselves and have that closure. I'd like to thank my uncle Arif. Jazakallah khair. Sorry, he's the one who managed to get or track down the people. So I did video as well. And mashallah, jazakallah khair. So thank you very much, and a big thank you to Colourful Heritage. Colourful Heritage have spent a lot of time and effort in terms of raising awareness about these graves. They've collated all the information, and it's due to their hard efforts that we are here today. So thank you very much. Sometimes you get a chance to do something really good. Today is one of those days. This journey started about 9-10 years ago when me and Omar Sheikh from Colourful Heritage and another friend called Munawar, we visited Kingussie cemetery, and there we discovered 9 graves of British Indian soldiers who were from the special K6 regiment. And out of those 9 soldiers, there were 3 that belonged to my parents' home district of Gujarat. And when I saw these graves, there was a real sense of kinship between myself and these soldiers, some very young ages that had passed away. And me and Umar and our friend Munawar, we had committed that we would do everything we could to try and find the families of those dead soldiers and tell them where they were buried and let them, the families, have some kind of closure in terms of what happened to them. And today I managed to do that. I managed to track down the families of the Indian soldiers, particularly, well, one specifically, that's Muhammad. He was 29 years old. He was a driver, and he died in the Highlands, the Scottish Highlands. And it was an amazing feeling when I met his brother's grandson, and they told us how Muhammad was newlywed when he was shipped off to war. And when he died, they had a telegram, and his wife never remarried due to the loss of her husband and the sadness. So for me, it was very emotional, finally meeting these families, finally, fulfilling that commitment that we had done 9-10 years ago. And one of the reasons why we made that commitment to ourselves was that, seeing these soldiers, their graves, thousands of miles away from their homeland, away from their family, alone, there was a real sense of, letting their families know. Meeting his family was amazing. So I got to not only meet the family, but I got to see the house where Muhammad lived. The house was obviously renovated, but then being shown where his room was, and, seeing the place, the site where he was raised as a young man, and thinking about what must have the family gone through when they heard the news that he passed away, the grief that the family faced, the grief that his wife faced, to the point that she never remarried again. One of the highlights was visiting the grave of his wife, Fazl Begum, and again, a very strange feeling came across me, because I had visited her husband's grave a few years ago, and now I was face to face with his wife's grave, and that connection, that kinship, I just can't explain it. It was just an amazing feeling. What was also very memorable is when I read out the letter by Isabel Harling. The family were very emotional and very moved that someone was looking after their relative's grave, and they couldn't thank Isabel and her family enough. They were thankful to everyone for looking after their grave. And finally, Isabel's wishes of connection or communication with their families had been done. Her letter was read out. That was an amazing feeling, and the sense of gratitude they had for Isabel was amazing. And hopefully, Isabel's family can have some assurance that people from the other side of the world are so grateful for what Isabel did for her life, and how she spent over 70 years looking after those graves, and she referred to them as her boys, and one of her boys was now they linked to his family, and they know what's happened to him, how he died, where he's buried. We showed him the graves, and again the family was so they were mesmerized by the video showing the graves and the videos from Colourful Heritage. So really amazing day. Want to really thank Colourful Heritage for organizing this, and the great work they're doing. And this is for me personally, I feel just overwhelmed and struck with so much emotion. The story is full of love, it's full of sadness, it's full of loss, but it's also full of gratitude as well, and it's full of kindness from people like Isabel Harling. So an amazing story, and hopefully the family will have an opportunity to visit the grave at some point in the future, and hopefully Muhammad will have some closure.